In this video, we're working on our 3D printed KILLTEAM game board. Oh, and we passed 100 subscribers. So before we get into the terrain board, the biggest thing I want to tell you is thank you for subscribing. 100 subscribers, compared to a lot of channels, it's not a lot. But to me, every one of you have mattered. I don't want to get like too mushy or sentimental or derail from what this video is really about. But when I first started this channel, I was like, if I don't get 100 subscribers in a year, I just want to make videos. And we did it. So I guess you could say that this is the first video for this channel. It's a permanent thing. So thanks for subscribing. I'll be around. So for the longest time, I've been wanting to work on a KILLTEAM board, or really a tabletop. Now, the table I have is 5 foot by 4 foot, or thereabouts, and it's just a little bit too small for a regular gaming board, but it's perfect for the newer sized rules, so I was super ecstatic about that. So I decided rather than building an entire game board, I would build a KILLTEAM sized board first, and then, build a total of 4 of them. So I started off with some plywood, about a 3/4 inch thick, I believe. And I just laid it out and I did some basic measurements, figured out how I'm going to want these things to fit together. I don't want to use the word modular here, but I did want them to fit together as you rotate them in a way that made sense. After that, I did some rough measurements, sketched out some basic ideas for tiles, and then I went to work 3D modeling. I was aiming for not so much like an open lock system or something that interlocks together, mainly because resin printers, they're not all that reliable in terms of like hard, precise shapes. Not really. And I need something that would be able to whip out a lot of these at once. So what I did was I decided to go for 50 and 100 millimeter sized tiles that are at a max 3 millimeters thick. That's from the bottom to the highest bolt on these things. The nice part about this is you can print off enough tiles to cover just under a sheet of paper, about 24 tiles all together, and that's quite the time saver. I was really pleased with that. I did have some fails. I did run out of resin at a certain point, but even the fails I was able to make work. I started off with the raised tier area. Now with this one, I cut a piece of XPS foam out, cut it to size, glued it down, realized I forgot to chop out an area for the plinths and the stairs that I wanted to build in. Cut it quickly, it worked, super happy about that. One problem I had is I didn't want there to be anything on this board that could be misconstrued as actual cover. So this raised area, I actually wanted to do a little bit of a rubble ramp, so to speak, and some of the tucked in corner pieces. So I grabbed my rock molds and some milliput and just got the basic shape. I let it sit for about a half hour in the molds, took it out, and just started pushing and tearing it into place. Some of the rock mold texture was still there. I really wanted the slope, and I didn't want to have to sit there and like hand sculpt it. So that's why I used the molds. I started adding some coarse gritty stone from Woodland Scenics. I had 2 of that. I had like a large grit and a small grit. Worked super well. After that, I went in with some tile grout and just started like filling in the excess. And here I was filling up areas that were, the transition between the milliput and the 3D printed pieces, also any cracks, any areas where I put together 3D printed tiles that had failed. And honestly, that broke up the board and added a lot of variation, and I was super happy with it. After that, I went over the areas that I put the tile grout in with a little bit of water just to pre-harden it, damp that up, let that dry, swept off any excess, and then I went over with a very thin super glue that used capillary action and kind of froze everything in place. Worked really well. I dusted it off, trimmed off any excess edges, I took it outside and I spray painted it. And it was awesome. I'll be honest, there was a couple points on this project where I thought, this looks like garbage. This doesn't look interesting. But when I look at it, painted black, everything all one color, looks like a model I want to paint. So we're going to call it right there. Just because I need to get this video out. It's been a couple weeks. It's been crazy. We had some holidays, we had some work events, life events, everything just kind of adding up on top of a fairly large, bulky project that I'd never done before. So it took a while. Sorry about that. The next video, we're going to go over painting this specific thing. Now, when I say the next video, I mean the next video in the series. I have another video working on a Smash Captain for the Space Marines. I'm going to put that one out as kind of an intermediary one, because I'll be obviously painting this one, recording that. Also, as a fun little announcement, if you've heard of Miniac, a couple weeks ago he put out a call for miniature painters to do some charity work. Now, by the time everything was squared away, I signed up for it, but I was a bit late. There were no more open spots to take any models. If you're curious about the composition, I'll link it down below. But basically, I signed up for the fall through list. So anyone who wasn't able to complete their things, I would pick up the slack for at least one of them. So Scott, Miniature Maniac, sent me an email and asked me if I would paint up the Triumph of St. Catherine in a very specific style. Now, this isn't going to be my normal style, but it is a big model. I'm excited. It's charity work. Maniac's involved. It's going to be a video. So that's kind of what the next couple of videos are going to be. I'm looking at including my Instagram in my socials at this point, now that we're looking at being a real channel. I've been using it for a while. I'll obviously put the link down below. If there's ever a delay in the videos for a week, I'm going to just put in announcements up there. Work in progress, things I'm working on the side. Just fun stuff. So, we'll see. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I might be doing some live streams for some of the projects that I'm going to be working on. We'll be announcing that on Instagram as well, just in case you're curious. I don't necessarily know when. I'll leave the videos up online. You can watch them at your leisure if you want. They're not going to necessarily be super interesting, but they will be behind the scenes, I guess you could say. So, and if you happen to be watching while I'm streaming, you can talk to me, chat, chill, ask questions, make comments. Yeah, that's a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, leave a like. If you really loved it, hit subscribe. Ring the bell notification just for updates on all videos and content that I'm going to be putting out. Hopefully I'll be getting out more than I have been lately. But, you can kind of see I've been moving things around in the shop, and it's getting better. So, this has been Synthetic Black. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.